It must have been quite the plane ride. Canadian prime ministers past and present were among those on board en route to South Africa. They set aside their political differences and sat side by side to pay tribute to Nelson Mandela. The U.S. president has also now arrived for what will be the biggest memorial in years. Our Ottawa bureau chief Jacques Bourbeau traveled with that Canadian delegation. But we begin tonight with Eric Sorensen and a preview of what's to come. Eric?
Donna, the world is coming to South Africa, and for South Africa, it's almost overwhelming. The emotions of the moment, the scale of the event, and the need for security to protect dozens of world leaders. Just 4 days after the death of Nelson Mandela, Johannesburg is being transformed for the highest security event this country has ever seen. South African police and military, along with construction teams, are rushing to prepare and make safe the city's soccer stadium for close to 100,000 people who will attend tomorrow's public memorial service. Presidents and prime ministers, royalty and celebrities from all over the world are arriving here. There were cheers outside Nelson Mandela's home when the UN Secretary General came. Mandela is a heroic figure to South Africans, but they have been surprised and deeply touched by the world's response.
For Africa to get such a great person, okay, to show example to the world that something good, somebody who good can come from Africa.
This is one man that impacted not only South Africa, but he impacted the whole world.
Cleopatra Thusi brought her children to Mandela's home so they would not forget what he achieved.
Multiracial society, the rainbow nation that he talked about. That's what we are representing here today. You can see the people that are here, that we actually representing what he preached.
Indeed, Mandela's vision has shaped a future for South Africa where blacks and whites can live peacefully.
I mean, he did a lot for this country. His whole demeanor was peaceful, and we wanted that.
South African broadcasters are televising non-stop coverage. In South Africa's parliament, non-stop tributes.
Nelson Mandela's vision transcended the physical borders of our country. It permeated the fabric of global society.
The world gets that this was someone terribly special.
Canada's former UN ambassador was a friend of Nelson Mandela.
Looking back, I cannot think of another leader who ever induced this kind of global response in country after country. Look at Canada. We're just overwhelmed with feeling about his loss.
Stephen Lewis says Mandela was important to Canadians and that Canada was important to Mandela. A remarkable contingent of Canadians is here in Johannesburg tonight. Our Ottawa bureau chief Jacques Bourbeau is with Prime Minister Stephen Harper and the Canadian delegation.
Prime Minister Stephen Harper boarded his plane in Ottawa bound for South Africa with a unique group of traveling companions. 3 former prime ministers, both political friends and foes, invited to join Harper to pay their respects to Nelson Mandela.
I'm honored to have with me all of these former prime ministers, and this is a great story. It really tells you about the long and leading history of Canada from the days of Mr. Diefenbaker on, in the struggle that defined Nelson Mandela's life.
Harper did not mention the man across the table from him, but it was former Conservative Prime Minister Brian Mulroney who led the international fight to end apartheid.
Well, I couldn't think of a worse case of violation of simple human rights as to have 4 million whites controlling 30 million blacks. They were in servitude. And here it was sitting in front of our eyes in 1984. And so I decided that my government would make this the highest priority.
Soon after Mandela was released from prison, Canada was one of the first countries he visited to express his gratitude.
We are deeply moved.
When Nelson Mandela called me the morning after he got out of jail and offered to come to Canada to make his first speech before a democratically elected parliament, I want to tell you, I felt pretty good.
Former Liberal Prime Minister Jean Chrétien also has memories of Mandela, including when he made him an honorary Canadian citizen.
When I resigned, he sent me a note that he said, I'm unhappy because I made him a Canadian citizen. I won't have a chance to vote for you, he said.
The Canadian delegation has landed in Johannesburg. Tomorrow, another former Prime Minister, Joe Clark, will join the others to attend a memorial service for Nelson Mandela.
a pilgrimage where domestic politics will take a back seat to paying tribute to a man everyone agrees was truly remarkable. Eric?
Jacques Bourbeau with the Canadian delegation here in Johannesburg tonight. The city's big football stadium isn't the only site that's being prepared. Mandela's childhood home of Kunu is where he will be buried. In this rural, isolated area, they are building almost from scratch a dome for the state funeral. That will be held on Sunday. It's a smaller, mostly South African affair. The larger gathering for the world to take part in is happening here in Johannesburg tomorrow. Donna?
All right, we look forward to your reporting on that, Eric Sorensen. Thank you.